Welcome to my channel. My name's Jared. This is another Sunday update video. I also post silent build videos on Fridays and most Wednesdays, so be sure to check those out as well. Today we're going to be talking about the Land Cruiser, the Beetle, and a little bit about the Mini. Okay, so the Land Cruiser. The last build video I did was installing the transmission. Somebody pointed out, and I looked into it and they were correct, that my axles are wrong. They're not lined up the way they're supposed to be. I took these axles apart when I cleaned them up to paint them, and I didn't really pay any attention as to where I shoved this piece back in, because you know there's teeth in there and it can rotate and it just slides in. But these need to be in a line. So I'm going to be redoing that, and also I got the new correct parking brake cable, so I've got to take this apart anyways to do that. But I think I'm going to have to redo both axles just to make sure they're in line. That's to help reduce vibration. But anyway, the transmission's in, so pretty much the whole drive line is together, which means now it's time to work on the body. No more excuses to put this off. So you can see the Beetle is gone. That's because in my last video for the Beetle, I got it running. So it moved out of the garage. But yeah, so now the next step on this one is going to be to start the body work. So I've already ordered a few pieces. This area, obviously there's rust. It's not actually that bad. My plan originally was to try to patch it. But since then I've already ordered this exterior panel. So I have that coming. I also ordered this entire quarter panel because I'm pretty confident I'm not going to be able to beat that back out. But the thing is, we'll see how it goes. I really don't want to replace this whole panel. I really only want to replace the damaged sections, partially because I want to keep all the original holes for the hinges and the lights and the emblems and all that stuff. I want it to be where it is. And also I just don't want to replace more metal than I have to. But I will have to decide, because there's a seam across here where the inner panel meets the outer panel, and that it usually rusts a lot right there. So I'm gonna have to decide, you know, exactly where I cut this thing, if I do the whole panel or if I just do part of it. I'm concerned with, if you do the whole panel, you have to weld it all the way along here. That's a very long distance to make a weld and not have it warp. Well, I mean, it's on an edge, so it shouldn't warp, but it's still a long surface for a weld. And there's potential for that to cause rust issues from behind. I prefer to weld like this, where I can access both the front and the back, and then I can clean up the metal on both sides, and I can be confident that it's not going to start rusting again. But if you have to weld, anytime you can't get to the back side of it to clean it up after you weld it, then it seems to me like that's just going to rust again, quickly actually. So anyway, I did order this quarter panel. I ordered both of the side skirts there. And hey, look who it is. Walter! What's up, buddy? What's up, Walter? Good to see you. This is my dog, Walter. He shows up in a lot of the videos, although he's been a little too busy lately to come join me out in the shop. So it's good to see you, Walter. But yeah, you can also see, I mentioned this before, but I found these seats. So I'm going to figure out all the mounting points I need to create for those seats. And then I've got this roll bar that came with it that I may or may not use. So I've got to decide if I'm going to keep the mounting holes for that or if I'm going to cover those up. But yeah, the body's here. You can see this side. I already had this patch panel in, and I'm going to patch this. And I think that's probably going to be it for this side. I don't plan on replacing this whole quarter panel because, again, I want to keep all these original locations. But also I want to have all this original. So anyway, this side I'm going to patch this and then finish cleaning it up, strip it all the way back to metal, clean it up. And then of course, like I said, I have this new piece here. But so yeah, that's the next step on the Land Cruiser. That's going to be doing the body work on this tub and getting it ready to go on the frame. And once it's on there, I mean, just the tub alone is all I really need on the frame, and then I can drive that thing at least in and out of the shop. Put a windshield on it and I can drive it down the street. Anyway, that's the Land Cruiser. Got the Beetle out here. you'll see that the Model T is gone. The Model T is actually parked out front. It has a skeleton in it, so it's now Halloween decoration. But that also gives me some time to do some other projects in this location. And then I'll pull the Model T back in and take the engine out, and I'll go through it mechanically. But here's the Beetle. So the Beetle runs now. It runs and drives. It needs a little bit of adjustment still. I need to adjust the clutch some more. I need to go through the brakes and adjust them a little bit. The steering wheel is off. You know, I never put the center cap on because I wasn't sure about if the steering wheel was centered, so I've got to rotate the steering wheel. But the next video for this is going to be finishing up the interior. I've got to redo the dash. I'm taking off the pad. I got to put the correct speedometer back in it. I also have that wicker shelf to go down there. So basically, I've got to finish up the interior, and then this thing will be ready to do a drive video, you know, once I do those little adjustments. But the engine came out good. Runs nice. If you watch that video, you would have noticed I got it running. I ran it for like 20 minutes to let it break in, and then I changed the oil and put fresh oil in it again. So I put brand new oil in it and only used it for 20 minutes, and then I drained it out and replaced it. And that's because there's no oil filter on this engine, and so that initial break-in, there's going to be a lot of metal flakes and stuff coming off of the rings, and it's just all the new parts moving around in there, getting settled in. So anyway, I did that, and now it runs well. So getting really close on this one. I still have an issue. I mentioned before I'm having an issue with the registration on this, with getting the title. And the reason is the DMV, because of COVID, when things were completely locked down, you couldn't go to the DMV at all, but they had an online service. And so I used that service to try to do the title transfer. And I paid the fees and everything was fine. And they said, okay, mail in your original paperwork and then we'll send you the new title. Well, I mailed that in, and that was like 5 months ago. And obviously they lost it, or something happened. They were just way understaffed. But regardless, I've never got the title. I've never got the registration, even though I've paid it. And it was a California title, so it's a simple transfer. It's not out of state or anything. But so anyway, I'm still waiting on the paperwork on that. I think I'll probably drive it anyways, because I do have proof that I paid the registration if I do get pulled over. But you know, I'm still waiting on the title for that thing. But okay, so that's the Beetle. So we'll talk a little bit about the Mini, since I have it in here right now. For those of you that don't know, this is my Mini. I built this a few years ago. It was before I ever started the YouTube channel. I spent about 2 years off and on building this, and it was in terrible shape when I got it. Worse shape than the Land Cruiser. I mean, it was wrecked in the front end. The engine was seized. It had rust. The interior was completely gone. It was from a dry climate. It had been in, I think it was Arizona, but it sat outside for like 20 some years. Everything had just rotted away on it. So I built this. Like I said, I did it before I started this channel, so I didn't film it. The process of building, I did take a lot of photos, like maybe a few hundred photos of the process. And so I have posted a video on YouTube of the build, but it's just, it's just the photos of me going through the process of building it. And I have a few other videos. I'll put a link that you guys can click on if you want to watch the videos. I've got one where I took it to a Cars and Coffee before COVID started. So it's a cool car. It was a fun project. I'm always kind of on the fence as to whether I'm going to keep it or whether I'm going to sell it, just because I don't drive it that often. But I do really enjoy it. And every time I drive it, this thing, I will let it sit for months, and I will turn the key and it'll fire right up every single time. It just runs excellent every single time. It's always ready to go, even though I let it set for a long time without using it. But anyway, so that's the Mini. That's the Beetle. The motorcycle, I am still working on it. And like I said before, you can see the frames over there. You may have noticed I've got the fuel tank and stuff in here. I'm still waiting on those parts. I get an email about every week or two. There's all the seat and the gas tank and stuff is back there, and these are all the parts for the bike. About every week or two, I get an email from the place I ordered the parts from saying your parts are still on order. And I ordered probably, every single rubber seal for the bike, every grommet, everything. there's probably 30 or 40 items I ordered, and only one of them says back order, and the other items on the email says in process. And I've tried calling, I've tried emailing them saying, hey, just ship everything you can now. And if it's only 1 or 2 items on back order, just remove them from the order. But I never get a response. All I get is the generic email back saying your parts are still being processed, and due to COVID-19, we're in big delay. But I mean, it's been months and months. It hasn't been like a week or 2 delay. It's been several months and nothing's happened. I mean, they took my money, like almost $500 worth of rubber seals. But anyway, that's the bike, so that's why it's not making progress yet. But once I get those parts, it should go really quickly. I already have the tires, I have the gaskets for the engine, I'm gonna rebuild the carb, so I may start doing the engine and carb videos soon. But you know, if I can't finish it, I don't really wanna get too much into it. I'd rather just, once I have all the stuff, then I can really focus on it and finish it. But okay, so that's the bike, that's the Land Cruiser, making progress on everything. So I guess that's it for this week. Okay guys, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Bye.